This is it. We're rolling episode 548, No Laugh Track Podcast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, here at Acme Comedy Company. I am Justin Severson, get to host this each and every week. Am I looking at AI across? Are we frozen? What happened here? Zach's face isn't moving.
Whenever I get introduced on a podcast, I never know. I always feel so weird being like, "Hey man, what's going on? Thanks so much for having me back." So I figured I would just cheese at the camera a little bit.
I only hope that Brandon had that focused on your face that whole time. That was fantastic. Welcome back, Zach.
Thank you.
I didn't mean for
Nice
that to rhyme, but it
see
did.
you. I mean, that's a curse of my name.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
I get a lot of flack for it. Zach gets a lot of flack.
We'll end it there. That's too easy. That's too easy. But seriously, welcome back. Like I was telling you before, we ran into each other outside.
I've never heard anyone say, "But seriously, welcome back." Like you're just so ingenuine when you say "welcome back." Like, no, I want you to know, like, I am happy you're here. Seriously, you got to believe me, dude.
Transitions are my specialty. Did anybody tell you that? Come on. But seriously, folks. Welcome back, and as we were talking about briefly before we started here, I thought it was more recent than you were here last time. It's been almost like 2.5 years.
The late 21.
This is your third time on this podcast. We did one in July 2020 and September 2021.
Yeah.
Where the hell you been, man?
Oh, God. Locked up in a glass case of my own emotion.
That was just for YouTube right there. That was absolutely just for YouTube.
Nothing, man. I just been doing the same old. Going around telling jokes and telling my kids not to do that. That's it. Just a lot of telling.
Hilarious. So I was at the show Wednesday night. Super fun show, as always.
Wasn't there like a great energy in the room, inside the room?
Yes, and actually that's what I was leading to, is there was a lot of energy, and I think it comes off of you. You are so high energy.
But could you feel it, like, on your arms? Could you feel the energy on your arms? Like, the arms were standing straight up, the hairs.
Yes, absolutely. You're teasing me. I love that. No one knows why you're teasing me like that. That's very funny.
He wasn't there!
So funny. Oh, yeah? Well, I have proof that I at least know what happened here on Wednesday.
I believe that. Yeah.
But
Wednesday was great.
But no, once again, just like last time I saw you here 2.5 years ago, you're so high energy on stage. I think it's awesome.
It's the only. You can't do it. You can't do it elsewhere. You can't go outside. I can't go outside and start screaming like that.
Well, I never thought of it that way, right?
You got to do it where they'll allow it. Two places they'll allow it, and it's the stand-up room and a prison.
I was going to say padded rooms in that one. Yeah, padded walls in that room. I want to know, so you are so high energy on stage. When the show's over, you can't just wind. You don't just go back to the hotel room and put your head on the pillow and go right to sleep. What do you do after a show?
No, it takes. I mean, I just especially here, I hang out with everybody from Acme because they are the best, and I mean that. No, I hang out with the crew, and then I go back, and they're very, very generous to give you a meal, So I'll take that back, and I'll eat it way too late, and then meat sits in your belly, and
fall
you
asleep
go,
with a
you
full
go
tummy.
asleep. Yeah, have night terrors and meat sweats.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then you must love having shows here. That's fantastic.
It's my favorite.
The meatier, the better. Is that what you're saying?
They are no. I mean, it is truly easier to be high energy here because the shows on Wednesday and Thursday, as we are recording this on Friday, they were lights out. I told my wife today, I've never said this, but Friday and Saturday are going to have a tough time living up to Wednesday and Thursday.
Look at that.
They were great crowds.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Nice. Let's remind people a little bit of your background here. You just mentioned wife. You have a wife, 2 daughters, correct? If I remember correctly from past conversations and your stand-up, Dad was a huge pothead. I love pointing that one out. You have the best Matt Patricia impression I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Unfortunately,
maybe the only one. No, he's not exactly.
Hey, only and best. It doesn't matter.
They're the same. They're synonymous. Sure.
People could start doing it and it wouldn't be topped.
I'm
Unfortunately,
so-
he doesn't. I don't think he has a job right now. Do you know?
He was in Philadelphia last year. I don't know where he is now, but
I think he got dropped, and I think he's unemployed. We need to get him a job.
I mean, it would make sense. Him and Bill Belichick just going to Starbucks, updating their resume every morning.
That's right. For people who don't know, Matt Patricia was the head coach of the Detroit Lions before they became this incredible team.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before Dan Campbell.
Before Dan Campbell.
Darkest before the dawn. Or darkest before the Dan.
You should sell that to the Lions. Sell that to the Lions. And the other thing about you is you live in Ann Arbor.
Just outside.
Just
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah. About,
Okay.
10 minutes outside Ann Arbor.
What's the name of that town?
It's named just a little town called Brighton.
Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton.
Sounds
Brighton,
very British,
Michigan.
very English.
Oh, okay. How many Swifties are in your house?
My wife and my youngest, and my oldest would say that she's not, but she is.
Really?
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say I liked her debut album, like back in the day.
Wow.
And then I haven't really listened.
OG Swifty.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
OGT Swift. But I mean, like, I don't really dive into them very deeply. My daughter makes me listen to them, so I do that, and I don't mind it. It's better than the Disney show tunes that I had to listen to beforehand. So they're getting older, and certainly something I enjoy a lot more.
Boy, I can relate to that. I have the teenage daughters. One is very into Taylor Swift, and of course my wife as well. And then I have a 4.5-year-old. So those Disney songs.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, have you? Last week, Ronan Hirschberg was here, and something came up about the whole RFK Jr. thing, and he like had a worm in his brain or whatever. Then Ronan said something about his conspiracies. Mm-hmm. So in the last week, I was like, what are some conspiracies that are going on right now that people talk about? And one of them, I want your thoughts on this, about Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm.
People have long discussed the conspiracy that Walt Disney used cryogenics technology to freeze himself when he died, even though they say that that's not true. However, a new theory is that the Walt Disney Company created Frozen as a way to... Have you heard this? As a way to distract consumers from information about the late Walt Disney's possible Frozen procedure. In other words, they tried to trick Google. That's the conspiracy. That when you search Walt Disney and Frozen, it won't come up about his head being on a pedestal in some freezer. I've never heard that until this week. I read that.
You know what? That makes me appreciate Disney so much more.
Isn't that wild?
They're like, hey, listen, we know what you're looking for. Instead, I'm going to give you an ice queen and a snowman. Walt Disney is actually Olaf. Josh Gad doesn't know he's playing the inner child of Walt Disney.
Seriously, like, I can't wait for my little one to be old enough to be like, oh, by the way, that Frozen movie you love. There might be a story behind that. So you'd never heard that, obviously.
No, but I love it. Makes sense.
Wild. Absolutely wild. So that was we just talked about Disney briefly, and I'm like, oh, I got to share that one with you right now. Let's talk about the show the other night. You did a little bit of crowd work, I noticed, not a ton. How much you doing that these days?
I mean, if it works, it works. They were just a fun group that like were willing to go along with things, and things kept popping up. And it was the first show of the weekend, so you try to get reacclimated to the stage and the crowd and see what you can get away with. And it was great.
How fun is it being so loosey-goosey at the beginning where you're like, I think it was like 6-7 minutes in, and then you're like, I haven't even done my material.
Yeah.
I haven't started my material yet.
That was great because then I don't have to worry about saying jokes twice. Yeah, so that's... No, I mean, they were great. And this guy up here looked like he was my tag team partner. There's a guy like that looked like Kenny Rogers. There's some interesting characters. One dude in the darkness that was just talking through the whole show, acting like nobody could hear him, but everybody could hear him. He was a fun guy.
Let that be a lesson to everyone. You can be heard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Especially in this room, the acoustics are so great. It's one reason it's so well regarded. I mean, the crowds are great, but the laughs just fall on you.
Uh-huh.
They fall on you like an obese Oklahoman after a big old burger on a hot and sunny day.
I think I'm hungry. You in your set, you mentioned that you read to kids at school.
Mm-hmm.
You still doing that?
I do every once in a while, not as often as I once did. When my daughters were in elementary school, I would just go in and read. And then I remember that year I got invited back to their classroom more than any club invited me back. I was like, am I an elementary school reader now? What's happening? Because I would perform, like I would do the voices and I would really like make the facial expressions, and the kids loved it and it was super fun. Then COVID hit and I started doing like a YouTube show called Stay Home Storytime, and then I got a cease and desist letter from a publisher, and I was like, all right, I'll stop.
Someone was using that name or what?
I was just reading. I mean, I wasn't making any money, but I was reading books across
Oh.
YouTube, and then I got a cease and desist. And I won't mention the name of the publisher because I am not currently retaining legal counsel. But you ruined a lot of kids' lives. I have a couple kids that were like younger during that, and they'll see me on town. They'll be like, "I watched you during." It's so cool to have kids be like, "I loved when you read those stories. That was like my favorite thing." And yeah, so fuck that publisher.
How I went and stopped in my 4-year-old pre-K class. They had like a dentist thing, do a presentation a few months ago, and it wasn't whatever. It wasn't her. It was the morning one, not the afternoon. So they were like invited the afternoon. So I brought her in. That's why it was like a weird thing where I was there. Anyway, little kids are not exactly the best audience.
I mean, little kids are no different than a stand-up comedy audience. You have to scream at them and make sure they know the room is yours. They're like, I'm not. No, he's scary as the character. I don't want him coming at me.
Some of the I'm curious. Did you open that up? Were the kids able to ask questions about the book to you afterwards? Because I witnessed some of the most off the topic questions ever. When I went to this thing, it was supposed to be about teeth. And these kids wanted to talk about anything but. It was so entertaining.
I would always kind of, after I got like a certain page done or something happened in the book, I would always be like, can you believe that? Like, how would you handle that? And then they would say ridiculous things. And they were really good about going like, okay, here's what happens next. And then we would dive in, and they loved it. And honestly, it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I'm sure, absolutely. So I was told that we had I appreciate you were able to reschedule the podcast. We were going to do it a different day. We did it today. But then I was told that you're going to do some headshots today?
I don't know if they're headshots or what, but someone came to my show the last time or one of my previous times here, and they were super nice, and they always stayed in touch. Her name's Krija.
Oh, sure.
Krija Studios.
Sure.
And
I know who that is.
she sent me just a bunch of pictures that she's done. She's going to come to the show on Friday, and after this, I'm going to go get some shots taken.
Nice.
Free photos? No, I couldn't not compensate for her efforts. But.
Is that something you like? Do you look forward to? Is that something you like dread doing?
I don't like doing anything. I don't.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I woke up today and I was like, oh shit, I gotta do this and then I gotta do this. But then once I'm doing it, I'm so happy. It's just a matter of like getting my ass out the door.
Yes.
My wife, she knows, like she can't, if she makes any plans, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I would like to just maybe stay home and we could watch Palm Royale on Apple TV with Kristen Wiig and Carol Burnett.
I don't know what that is.
No one would, but I'd rather do that than go out in public. But then once I'm out, I'm having a good time. It's just like my wife says I have something called negative narcissism, which is I think everybody in the world is thinking about me and looking at me, but they're all making fun of me. So I stress out pretty hard about that.
Wow. Have you ever looked? Is that like a real? I wonder if there's a real scientific name for something like that instead of this fun one your wife came up with.
I certainly, if there is, I don't want to know it. I don't.
Well, we have a doctor showing up in about 6 minutes here, if I remember correctly. We'll get to the bottom of that. We'll absolutely get to the bottom of that. Let's see. We're not going to do. Obviously, I do not want you to do the joke, but I'm just going to say that you have, I guess, kind of the punchline is both dry brown.
It all dries brown.
It all dries brown.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
What a joke.
That's my favorite joke.
What a joke.
That joke has maintained its territory at the top of my list for a while because it is so filthy.
Yes. Is there? Have you considered? Maybe you've already done it. Is there merch that says it all dries brown?
No.
Because that would be. I would wear that around.
Hashtag it all dries brown. I always tell crowds, I'm like, listen, follow me on socials. Give me a hashtag it all dries brown. Let's start a movement because the joke is so gross, but it truly is about equality.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Come on out. Tonight, tomorrow, you got 4 more chances to see It All Dries Brown with Zach Martina here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm talking to Justin Severson on the No Laugh Track podcast. And Justin, let me tell you about this. I have nowhere else to go with that. I'm done with that little riff.
Let me grab that from you. Let's see. You have a dog that you talk about on stage, and I've seen some social media.
Farley, my sweet boy,
named after
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's brother, right?
No, they actually found my dog wandering near the Detroit River, and coincidentally enough, by an abandoned van. So when they heard that, truly, my daughters heard that story, and they're like, "Well, we have to name him Farley," because that was like one of their favorite sketches. It's one of them I always showed them as kids. They're like, "Well, we have to name him." I think they said Foley first because it was Matt Foley.
Matt Foley, yeah.
But I was like, "Nah, let's go with Farley." So Farley, 70-pound Staffordshire Terrier, just the best boy.
Does Farley know that you're mentioning his weight online and stuff and on stages? Is that fat shaming?
I mean, if you heard my act, I talk a lot about his dick too. So there's nothing shame about that.
I mean, that's all pride right there.
Yeah. And he is not a fat dog. That dog has a 6-pack on his back.
Whoa.
He walks hard.
Oh, that's right. Walks hard.
He walks hard.
That's such a great way to describe that.
He walks so hard, I should have named him Dewey Cox.
That's very funny. Talking about those pictures, going back to the pictures you're getting done. When's the last time you didn't have long hair and a beard?
I'll have been doing stand-up 13 years next month, so I would say about 12 years ago.
Okay.
When I started, I had a crew cut and a very pretty clean face, and then this kind of just happened, and I look at it as like a Jedi braid. I'm like, all right, it's gone further and further. The hair's getting longer and longer. I had to trim the beard. The beard was down to my nipples at one point, like ZZ Top, and it just, I saw a reflection, and I was like, you can't be that guy. You can choose the hair or the beard. My daughter says I can't do my hair, so it was the beard.
It was the beard. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had a long talk. I'll never forget it.
Sometimes they know too much. Sometimes they have opinions, and
they have opinions for sure.
That is for sure.
And I'm very, very okay telling them, you're fucking stupid. That's wrong. No.
I was telling you briefly before we started that my 16-year-old just got her driver's license.
Yeah, that's got to be. Have you been in the car with her?
It's been a little bit. It's
Yeah.
been a few months. I found out that after she got her license yesterday, she went and spent the whole afternoon driving her friends around with these,
Oh, sure.
destinations that are unnecessary, but you do it because it's fun.
Sure.
Right? What do you remember?
Senses of freedom.
Yeah. What do you remember about that time in your life, getting your license and stuff? Did you pass the first time?
Passed the first time.
What kind of vehicle did you take the driver's test in? Do you remember?
I think a green Expedition.
Oh, something big.
Yeah, my dad made me learn on a big car because he's like, if you can drive and park this, you can drive and park anything.
Yeah.
So it was a Ford Expedition. I passed the first time, and then, then I was driving around.
How soon till you got your first ticket?
Pretty quick. I failed to yield one time in a 4-way and almost got T-boned with all my friends in it. Didn't know that was a rule. And then I totaled that very same Expedition on the day before the lease was up.
No.
It was a rainy night. I had just come back from one of our high school's basketball games, and I was driving home, and it was, curvy, and I slid out, and boom, right into the tree. And then my dad made me work in his glass store. and I had to pay it off.
Oh, wow.
But it was all right.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The last month of the lease? Or
The last day of the lease.
Oh
like
my
they were
God.
turning it in the next day.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I expected them to be very, very sympathetic, but they weren't. They weren't. They had actually been in a car accident like 3 or 4 months before, and they called me to tell me, and I was such a dick. They go, hey, everything's fine. Everything's okay. But your mom and I, we were in a car accident. I'm like, cool. What's for dinner? And
Boy, that's a
my
teenager's
dad was
reaction.
so pissed. And I was like, you said everything was fine. Why wouldn't I take your word?
I trust you. Don't you want me to trust you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the case.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. How are you? How much time you spending on social media these days?
More than I'd like.
More than you'd like.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Posting mainly. I have sets all the way back to 2015 that I just never cut up. I just was like, oh, I guess I need these, so I'll tape them. And I've always been taping. And then in December, my wife's like, you have 10 years of sets. Why are you not posting these clips? And I was like, all right. So starting in December, I got really committed to just posting clips and trying to get out there so people don't have to be given tickets to see me.
Have you noticed, your follower count increasing?
Yeah,
the
I've been
more
tracking
videos
it
you're
every
putting
month.
out?
I update it on my whiteboard there, and it's growing. I would say YouTube is where I've gotten the most traction, but Instagram was a slow roll. It's starting to get some stuff going. Facebook is not wonderful. TikTok, I don't know. That's where I have the most followers. But
Yeah, I saw that.
also, they don't ever see the videos because the algorithm's mad at me.
Yeah, who can ever figure that thing out?
I don't know.
What's in your algorithm? What is your algorithm decided that you like to see on TikTok?
Stand up, like sitcom and movie clips that I like just a clip from Dodgeball of one scene or whatever. They'll
Sure.
throw that out there a lot.
I follow an SNL clip
always,
one
yep,
that I love.
Yep,
Yeah.
I got those.
Yep.
And then my wife sends me a lot of dog stuff. So now there are dogs in there, Pistons, Lions stuff.
Sure.
That's about it.
Sure. Last night, my wife was, of course, staring at TikTok for a really long time, and I overheard a video she was watching, and it was a woman trying a bidet for the first time.
Oh, what? You can only do that once for the first time. What a dream. I want a bidet so bad. I invested in a Kickstarter bidet company, and they...
Seriously?
Yeah, and it was like pre-COVID. I ordered 2, one for my wife and one for I, and they still haven't given us our product, and I can't get my money back. I'm trying to get my money back, and they really squirted me in the ass. I want my money back.
Son of a gun.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. My wife got in the same, not a bidet, but this is like 5 years ago now. I was looking at, one of those sites. It was Kickstarter, and I found a thing. It was like a new, this sounds ridiculous it would ever work. It looked like it was like a mouth guard that you would put in that would basically clean your teeth instead of brushing.
Like a toothbrush, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, this is amazing technology. It's going to be released. Send your money. She sent money, and it has not seen a thing. Not, and it's been 5 or 6 years now.
Don't clean your teeth; they clean you out.
Yeah. There you go. I was like, you should start brushing your teeth again because I don't think that thing's showing up.
That's how committed she was. She's like, no, I'm going to see how good this machine is. I'm not going to brush until it arrives, and then it's going to solve all the problems.
Yeah, and it never arrived. Now, I heard you on stage the other night say that our new Vikings quarterback is going to show up and throw 30-some interceptions this year. If he
I only said that as a Lions fan. I said that as a Lions fan because if he does that, it makes a lot more sense for the Lions to be on top of the division. I mean, everybody loves J.J. McCarthy in Ann Arbor. I mean, he is definitely heralded as he won the national title with Michigan, so he's definitely a U of M hero.
Yeah.
But now he wears purple, so I can't root for him, not anymore.
Sure, now he's the enemy.
So, but I would root for him more than I would root for the Packers or the Bears. I would say as far as the division goes, it's Lions. And it's always been the Lions. I've never, ever jumped off that bandwagon. Some people, they're like, oh, I can't even watch them anymore. I can't even watch the Lions anymore. They've hurt me so bad. And then all of a sudden we're good. And they're like, I was committed the whole time. And I'm just like, you deserve to get punched in the dick.
There should be a quiz that you have to give people. Like, oh, yeah, who was the behind Herman Moore? Who were the other receivers? You know, like
Jermaine
something
Crowell,
like that.
Johnny Morton.
See?
Yeah, I
something
know.
like that.
And then, so the Lions, and then the Vikings would be like here. And then down here would be the Bears and the Packers. Yeah.
You're endearing yourself to Minnesota fans saying that. Good job.
Well, that's, I know how to pander.
Good pandering, Zach. Good job. Good job. Good job. Let's do some. Let's see. So, you know Chad Daniels, of course. You've worked with him. You've opened for him.
I have.
Whatnot. He has that beer that's out now that you can buy. Have you seen that?
I have not. I've seen it online, but I haven't seen it around.
They might even still be on tap here at Acme.
What's it called?
Dad Chaniels. It's the same name as one of his specials.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to try that tonight.
I like it.
If it's anything like Chad, I'm sure it's gonna be a little salty. No, I look forward to trying that.
If someone approached you with some sort of drink and wanted to put your name on it, what would it be? And I'm saying like it could be a soft drink, a mix, like a canned cocktail.
My favorite, I would
wine.
love to do root beer. I'm a big fan of root beer. If I had to do a alcoholic beverage, I would like to do a proper pre-made tequila soda drink.
Okay.
I could do, I would say tequila, but everybody's got their own tequila now. I would rather be able, here's a 12-pack tequila sodas. I could do a variety pack, Could have 4 reposados, 4 anejos, 4 blancos.
Someone knows what they're talking about.
I would do that. It would be that or root beer. Yeah. Not any adult root beer. That stuff was garbage.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not good.
Yes. I forgot that those even exist because how gross they are.
Yeah. Not your dad's root beer. Well, it's because he didn't buy them. They were friggin' awful.
It's because he had taste.
Yeah.
That's why. He had taste buds. What are you reading anything these days?
I am in the process of reading some stuff that my daughter reads. We're waiting on the 3rd book on a series called Children of Blood and Bone, and then the next one's called like Children of Anguish and Anxiety or something like that.
What are these?
And then the 3rd one is coming out in June or November, one of those two, and I'm very excited. The books were great. The second one made me cry. I called my daughter to yell at her. I'm like, I didn't expect this to be. And she's like, I know. It was really, really moving, right? And then,
wow,
both of my daughters and I read something called Keeper of the Lost Cities, which is definitely like a Harry Potter, but a different vibe. And that's fun to talk about. And then, I've started to read some of these YA novels that my oldest daughter reads, and they're graphic. But in reading those with her, like, it takes the stigma and the taboo of talking about adult topics away, so the conversations aren't necessarily awkward anymore.
Sure.
So I guess that's been a positive.
Okay, I can see that. That just brought me back to I've gone to a couple comedy shows in the last year with my oldest daughter.
Oh, yeah?
Jessica Kierson.
Oh, yeah.
And Rory Scovel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 2 great shows. But
you went to Rory's taping?
I did.
Yeah, so good.
So good. Oh, my God, it was so good. But hearing some of the content I heard sitting next to my teenage daughter, it was like, okay, I know she's seen this stuff and heard this stuff before, but not sitting next to me.
Yeah, you've really gotta lead the charge on that and like just laugh like she's not there. Otherwise, she's gonna be weird about it. I feel like that's how my daughters would be. So,
pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. You haven't done that yet with any of they're a little younger, so.
I took my daughters to my show on like a Father's Day weekend, and they were young. They were like 7 and 8, and they loved it. Some jokes didn't hit, but they would be laughing in the back because they knew the story about it. I have that on tape, and I gotta go back and watch it because I do love that one. But yeah, I actually something Chad kind of led me to and inspired me to start doing here soon is each daughter, I'll just individually take them on the road to cool cities and be able to spend some quality time with them individually, and then, go to work.
Yeah, boy, as a father of daughters, I know exactly what you're talking about. I see Chad do that online, and yeah, it looks like such a, how do you say it? Important time to spend in your life.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's great, but his daughter's wonderful too. Like, they're very similar as far as their sense of humor goes and everything. So, yeah, I'm sure they have. I've been fortunate enough to be on the road with Chad while his daughter was on one of those trips.
Oh,
and,
cool.
They got a great vibe, and I hope that I hope my daughters and I can have something similar. But
Yeah.
it's clear that they have a good time together, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a wonderful thing to see. What final thing should I bring up here? Obviously, people should come to the shows this weekend at Acme. We're recording this on Friday. We're going to get this out. There's two shows each night here. Follow you on social media, YouTube. You have two specials or two albums out.
Yeah.
You have something for sale here too, right?
Yeah, it's my second album. Working on the third now. We'll see I'll probably end up taping it because that's apparently what you do now. But fortunately, Minnesota's favorite son, Cy Amundsen, is quite the director. Apparently, he did Blake Wexler's special, and it looks great. So if I can get this stuff together after I do that, I'll be reaching out to him, seeing if he can help me out.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is Blake's special available now?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
it's
it
great.
is?
It's great. Blake's he's so silly. He's just one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's great. I haven't seen that yet. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Anything else we should be mentioning to people?
No, just live and let love.
Is that
Love and let live.
There you go. Which order?
Be yourself, but also strive to be someone better. And above all else, go Lions.
Thanks, Zach.